Okay, let's just jump right in. We are looking at a framework today that is incredibly timely. It reveals exactly how business structures are literally being rewritten from the ground up for the agentic era. Welcome to today's explainer. We're breaking down ExO 3.0. This is the operating model that is completely replacing the traditional company firm. And if you've been feeling lately like the old rules of business design are just crumbling under the weight of AI, well, you're absolutely right. We're moving away from these rigid static structures, and we're stepping into an era of living, breathing intelligence engines. To really set the stage, take a look at this quote from Martin Varsavsky from 2026. He hit the nail on the head. Intelligence is cheap now. Accountability is what will be priced. Wow. That right there, that instantly establishes our new reality. Because as foundation models and AI become completely commoditized, those traditional competitive moats we used to rely on, they're vanishing. The very boundary of the firm has collapsed. The whole idea of what's inside your company versus outside it is kind of obsolete now. What actually matters today is who holds the accountability. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with 1, the agentic era organization. Then 2, meet the ExO 3.0 framework. Next is 3, drive, the intelligence engine, followed by 4, shape, the organizational form. Then we'll cover 5, the 3 compounding loops, and wrap up with 6, the CEO blueprint. To make all of this really crystal clear, we're going to map out this company of the future using a super intuitive automotive metaphor. Starting off with Section 1, the agentic era organization, the death of the old firm. Let's take a quick look at how the way we visualize a business has so rapidly evolved over the years. The evolution here is just staggering. Think back to 1985. Porter's value chain gave us this very static, linear view of the firm. Then jump to 2010. Osterwalder's business canvas gave us neat little boxes to play with. ExO 1.0 pushed those boundaries in 2014. But by 2026, we're fully in the ExO 3.0 operating model. We aren't just describing static business models on a whiteboard anymore. No, we are building living, AI-native operating systems where the boundaries are completely fluid. Moving to Section 2, meet the ExO 3.0 framework, building the AI machine. To actually grasp how this new architecture works in the real world, it helps to picture your firm as a high-performance vehicle. Think of it like this. Your intelligence stack is your engine block. It's the absolute operating core powering the whole shebang. Plugged directly into that, you have your drivetrain. We call that drive. This is what converts raw cognitive power into actual speed, strategic options, and market traction. And finally, you have shape. Shape acts as your chassis and your safety systems. It provides those crucial control planes to keep this crazy high-velocity machine from just tearing itself apart on the track. Which brings us to Section 3, drive, the intelligence engine. What makes you fast and smart? Let's pop the hood and actually look at this drivetrain. So there are 5 components here that dictate your market traction: decision architecture, recursive learning, your core intelligence stack, your value moat, and elastic agency. Working together, these 5 literally replace the traditional org chart. Take decision architecture, for instance. This maps out exactly what gets automated and what is strictly reserved for human judgment. Because here's the thing. When execution becomes practically free, your curatorial judgment, basically your taste, that becomes your brand new value mode. Now, if we zoom in on elastic agency for a second, it reveals a pretty radical new reality. Organizations don't really hire anymore, they compose. Look at an information-centric business. The talent composition is heavily skewed. You're looking at about 70% AI and agents, maybe 20% internal humans, and just 10% elastic external talent. And the craziest part? This isn't a static snapshot. These numbers are projected to shift 10 points toward AI every 10 months as these agents get smarter. Your workforce is basically becoming this single, fluid, distributed pool of agency. Now on to Section 4, shape, the organizational form, what keeps you right and resilient. Because remember, right? A powerful engine is absolutely useless if you drive it into a wall. And that brings us to the structural boundaries of shape. Your structural resilience here relies on 5 key elements: safe autonomy, human architecture, adaptive architecture, purpose control, and ecosystem trust. That last one, ecosystem trust, is fascinating. When your AI agents are out there negotiating with a supplier's agents in literal milliseconds, trust has to become a cryptographic protocol. It can't just be a handshake. And under safe autonomy, we rely on a concept called a fiduciary wedge. That means every single autonomous agent's decision has to ultimately chain back to a named human owner.
But we really need to pause right here on human architecture and confront a massive looming crisis: 60%. This number represents what's known as the middle 60% problem.
Here's the issue. When you automate away all the entry-level work, you completely destroy the junior apprenticeship loop. And that starves the firm of tomorrow's senior judgment. Think about it. The top 20% of your talent thrives. The bottom 20% gets displaced. But if we just casually automate all the middle coordinators and process managers, we completely sever the pipeline that's supposed to produce our high judgment leaders a decade from now. I mean, today's CFO learned the ropes by grinding through spreadsheets as a junior analyst, right? So you have to deliberately engineer a new apprenticeship loop into your AI native architecture. And fixing this demands a massive shift in purpose control. Your MTP, your massive transformative purpose, it can no longer just be this aspirational corporate poster hanging on a break room wall. No way. It has to become a literal machine-readable protocol that governs how agents make trade-offs. It needs hard constraints, things agents are categorically forbidden from doing, and weighted priorities so they can resolve tensions autonomously without having to ping a human every 2 seconds.
All right, section 5, the 3 compounding loops, creating momentum. So how do all 10 of these characteristics from drive and shape actually interact to build an unstoppable competitive advantage?
Well, they compound through these 3 reinforcing loops. Step 1 is the intelligence loop. Basically, better decisions feed your stack, which gives you richer data. That naturally triggers step 2, the trust loop, which scales your advantage by attracting way more contributors and partners into your ecosystem. And that leads directly into step 3, the governance loop, ensuring you have the solid stability needed to delegate even deeper. It's a perfect cycle that proves a simple rule: drive without shape crashes, and shape without drive stalls. You absolutely need both working in perfect harmony.
Let's wrap it up with section 6, the CEO blueprint, actionable next steps. We're going to bring all of this together with a really practical blueprint for leaders who want to start architecting their own intelligence engine today.
So how do you actually build this thing? Well, the very first rule is please don't try to build all 10 characteristics at once. Diagnose your weakest bottleneck and build your intelligence stack first. You want to avoid the fatal mistake of treating this framework like a simple checklist. Find the one weak characteristic that's choking your compounding loop. Maybe it's your decision architecture, or maybe it's ecosystem trust. Whatever it is, fix that first. Everything else relies on that core engine block being solid.
I'm going to leave you with this ultimate litmus test to chew on. Ask yourself, could an AI agent, given only your MTP, decide what not to build? If the answer is no, then your purpose is still just a poster. It's not a protocol. In an era where execution is practically free, getting stuck as a feature factory is a massive trap. Your ability to properly constrain your agents, that is going to be your ultimate survival mechanism. So start building your protocol. Start assembling that engine block. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.